Imagine standing at the edge of a vast forest. Each tree represents a word, each path a sentence, and the entire forest a language. As you venture deeper, you realize that this forest isn't just a means of communication. It's a reflection of thought, culture, and reality itself. Welcome to the labyrinth of meaning, where words shape worlds. The genesis of language is as old as humanity. From primal grunts to complex scripts, our ancestors sought ways to convey thoughts, emotions, and ideas. But where did it all begin? Some theories suggest that language evolved from gestures, while others propose that it emerged from the need to coordinate during hunts. Regardless of its origin, language became the cornerstone of human civilization. The structure of language narrator. At its core, language is structured. Phonemes combine to form morphemes, which build into words, sentences, and eventually narratives. This structure allows for infinite creativity within finite rules. Consider the sentence, "The cat sat on the mat." Simple, yet it conveys a clear image. Alter one word and the meaning shifts entirely. This flexibility showcases the dynamic nature of language, meaning and semantics, but what gives words their meaning? Is it the object they represent, or the consensus among speakers? Take the word tree. It evokes a mental image, but the actual object varies across cultures and environments. Semantics delves into this relationship between signifiers' words and the signified concepts. Language and thought. Does language shape thought, or does thought shape language? This question has intrigued philosophers for centuries. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis posits that language influences perception. For instance, some languages have multiple words for snow, leading speakers to perceive snow differently than those with a single term. Language and reality. Language doesn't just describe reality, it constructs it. Legal systems, social norms, and even personal identities are framed through linguistic constructs. Consider the term marriage. Its definition varies across cultures and eras, highlighting how language molds societal structures. The limits of language. Yet, language has its boundaries. Certain experiences, like profound grief or transcendent joy, often elude verbal expression. Philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein famously stated, "Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent," emphasizing the limitations inherent in linguistic expression. Language games and context. Wittgenstein also introduced the concept of language games, suggesting that meaning arises from usage within specific contexts. For example, the word bank can refer to a financial institution or the side of a river, depending on the context. This fluidity underscores the importance of situational understanding in communication. The evolution of language. Language is not static. It evolves, absorbing new terms and discarding obsolete ones. The digital age, for instance, has introduced words like selfie and hashtag, reflecting contemporary experiences. This evolution mirrors societal changes, making language a living testament to human history. Language and power. Language wields power. It can oppress or liberate, include or exclude. Political rhetoric, propaganda, and media narratives demonstrate how language shapes public opinion and societal norms. George Orwell's 1984 illustrates this through Newspeak, a language designed to limit thought and control the populace. The philosophy of language today. In today's globalized world, understanding the philosophy of language is more crucial than ever. As cultures intersect, effective communication becomes paramount. By exploring the depths of language, we not only enhance our communication skills, but also gain insights into human cognition, culture, and society. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, endless forest, where each tree represents a single word, each intertwining path a sentence, and the entire forest itself a complex language. As you step deeper inside, the light shifts, and you realize that this forest is no mere tool for communication. It is a reflection of human thought, culture, and the very fabric of reality itself. Language is more than words arranged in patterns. It is a living, breathing system that shapes how we perceive and interact with the world around us. The genesis of language. Language did not appear fully formed. It is the product of millennia of human evolution, emerging gradually from the shadows of early hominid communication. Before words, there were gestures, facial expressions, and sounds, primitive signals born from necessity, used to coordinate hunts, warn of danger, or express emotion. These early attempts at communication laid the groundwork for something far more sophisticated. Over time, humans discovered that by combining sounds in certain ways, they could represent objects, actions, and abstract ideas. This capacity to symbolize allowed knowledge to be transferred, stories to be told, and culture to be built. Language became a collective inheritance, growing richer and more intricate with each generation. In this way, language is not just a human invention. It is an evolutionary adaptation, one that has enabled us to thrive as social beings. The structure of language at first glance. Language might seem chaotic, a tangle of words, accents, and dialects. But beneath this surface lies a system of remarkable order. Linguists break language down into components: phonemes, the smallest units of sound; morphemes, the smallest units of meaning; and syntax, the rules by which words combine to create coherent sentences. Consider the sentence, "The cat sat on the mat." Simple, yet its structure is precise. Each word holds a role: subject, verb, object, arranged so meaning flows clearly. Change one word, and the sentence takes on a new life. The dog sat on the mat conjures a different image. The cat sat under the mat alters the spatial relationship, and suddenly the meaning shifts entirely. This modularity of language gives it extraordinary flexibility, allowing humans to express an infinite variety of ideas with finite building blocks. Meaning and semantics. But what exactly gives a word meaning? Is it the object it refers to, or something more elusive? This question has preoccupied philosophers and linguists alike. The relationship between the signifier, the word or symbol, and the signified, the concept or thing it represents, is often assumed to be straightforward. Yet, in reality, this connection is fluid and culturally dependent. For example, the word tree evokes the concept of a tall plant with leaves and branches, but what that tree looks like can differ vastly depending on where you live. The meaning also shifts with context and usage. This field of study, semantics, seeks to understand how meaning arises from language. It uncovers how words carry not just literal definitions, but emotional, cultural, and associative weight. When you hear the word home, you might think of warmth and safety, while someone else may associate it with loss or longing. Thus, language carries layers of meaning beyond the surface. Language and thought. Perhaps the most profound question of all is, does language shape thought, or does thought shape language? The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis suggests that language influences how we perceive and categorize the world. According to this view, speakers of different languages experience reality differently because their languages frame it in unique ways. For example, some indigenous Arctic languages have multiple words for various types of snow, each reflecting nuances in texture, color, and condition. This linguistic richness means speakers can distinguish and think about snow in ways others cannot. On the other hand, many argue that thought precedes language and that we have universal cognitive structures that language merely expresses. The truth may lie somewhere in between. Language shapes thought by providing categories and frameworks, but thought also transcends linguistic boundaries. Our inner mental life includes images, feelings, and concepts that often resist verbal encapsulation. Language and reality. Language is not merely descriptive, it is constructive. Through language, we create realities and social worlds. Consider the word money. In itself, it is just paper or numbers, but through collective agreement, it becomes a symbol of value, power, and exchange. Similarly, concepts like justice, freedom, and marriage exist because language has given them definition and meaning within societies. The fluidity of these definitions is telling. Marriage means something very different in various cultures and historical periods. What was once a rigid institution is now being redefined through language as inclusive of diverse relationships. This dynamic interplay between language and social reality reveals the power language holds to shape identities and norms. The limits of language. Despite its power, language has boundaries. certain experiences resist verbal description. Feelings like overwhelming grief, ecstatic joy, or spiritual transcendence often leave us speechless. How can words, confined to a set of sounds and symbols, capture the full intensity of human experience? Philosophers like Ludwig Wittgenstein pointed out these limits by stating, "Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent." This is not a call to give up on language, but a humble acknowledgement that some aspects of reality lie beyond its reach. Language can guide us, but it cannot fully encompass the depths of lived experience. Language games and context. Wittgenstein also introduced the idea of language games, suggesting that meaning arises from how words are used within specific contexts. Words are not fixed entities with singular meanings. Their sense depends on the social game being played. Take the word bank. Without context, it is ambiguous. It could mean the edge of a river or a financial institution. When someone says, "I'm going to the bank," the meaning is clear only because of situational cues. This concept highlights the fluidity of meaning and the importance of context in communication. Language games also demonstrate that communication is a social act. We follow implicit rules, shared understandings, and conventions to make sense of each other. When these are disrupted, misunderstandings arise, revealing the delicate balance language maintains. The evolution of language is not static. It is a living, evolving phenomenon. Words come into existence, change meaning, and sometimes fade away. The emergence of the internet and digital communication has accelerated this process. Terms like selfie, hashtag, and emoji did not exist a few decades ago, yet now they are commonplace. This evolution reflects how language adapts to new experiences and technologies. It also reveals the inventive spirit of humans to mold language to fit their needs. Slang, dialects, and even entire new languages can emerge from cultural contact and innovation, showing language's resilience and creativity. Language and power. Language is a tool of power. It can build bridges or erect walls. Through rhetoric, persuasion, and propaganda, language shapes beliefs and influences actions. Political discourse often illustrates this. Terms like freedom fighter and terrorist describe similar roles from opposing perspectives, demonstrating how language frames reality to serve particular interests. Orwell's concept of newspeak in his dystopian novel shows a language engineered to limit thought and control the populace, illustrating the dark potential of language manipulation. Moreover, language can marginalize or empower groups. Inclusive language fosters respect and recognition, while pejorative terms perpetuate prejudice. Understanding this dimension is crucial for social justice and ethical communication. The philosophy of language today in our interconnected world. The philosophy of language remains vital. As cultures collide and merge, mastering language's nuances becomes key to empathy and understanding. Exploring how language shapes thought and social reality helps us navigate complexity and difference. Studying language philosophically allows us to appreciate not only the mechanics of communication, but the human condition itself. Language is where meaning, identity, and existence intersect. It is a mirror reflecting who we are and a tool shaping who we become. Closing reflections. The labyrinth of meaning is vast and intricate. Every word, phrase, and sentence is a step deeper into understanding ourselves and the world. As we navigate this forest of language, we uncover the hidden connections between thought, culture, and reality. Though language has its limits, it remains one of our most profound gifts. It is through language that we tell stories, build communities, and dream of futures yet to come. So, the next time you speak or listen, remember, you are traversing the labyrinth of meaning, an eternal journey of discovery.